ขณะนี้ก็คือเขาน่าจะชื่อ Alexandre Cazes แล้วก็เป็นคนแคนาดาหมายเลขพาสปอร์ตตัวนี้พอเราพบเราก็เจาะลึกไปเรื่อยๆครับเราก็เจอว่าเขามีภรรยาเป็นคนไทยเราก็ทำการสืบสวนเขาก็ไม่มีอะไรคือไม่ได้ทำอะไรเท่าไหร่แล้วก็สอบถามจากข้างเคียงหรือเก็บข้อมูลก็ทราบว่าเขาทำเกี่ยวกับคอมพิวเตอร์ใช่ไหมเราก็พยายามดูเขาทำคอมพิวเตอร์อะไรขายอะไรมีทรัพย์สินอะไรซึ่งเราดูว่าโอ้เขามีทรัพย์สินเยอะนะเขามีบ้าน2 หลังติดกันเป็นทาวน์เฮาส์ตรงข้าม2 หลังแล้วกำลังซื้ออีกหลังหนึ่งซื้อแล้วก็กำลังตกแต่งเป็น100 ล้านอีกที่หนึ่งแล้วก็ไปเช่าอีกที่หนึ่งมีบ้านแล้วแต่ยังไปเช่าอีกที่หนึ่งเราก็เห็นว่าเขาใช้รถ Lamborghini นะ Aventador ซึ่งราคาแพงสุดก็หลาย30 ล้านได้มั้งแล้วก็มี Porsche นะครับแล้วก็มี Mini Cooper แล้วส่วนมอเตอร์ไซค์ก็ใช้ Superbike BMW ซึ่งเป็นรถราคาสูงทั้งนั้นเลย
บางมื้อเนี่ยตัวนาย Alexandre Cazes เนี่ยสามารถที่จะใช้เงินประมาณ1 ล้านหรือ1.5 ล้านบาทในการกินข้าว1 มื้อได้เขาสามารถที่จะใช้เงินซื้อได้ทุกอย่างและเขาก็ใช้ชีวิตที่หรูหราจริงๆ
ก็เป็นเรื่องปกติของมนุษย์ที่อยากจะโอ้อวดนะในสิ่งที่ตัวเองได้มาเร็วอะไรเงี้ยเพราะฉะนั้นในการโอ้อวดเนี่ยบางครั้งเองเนี่ยมันก็เป็นที่จับตาเหมือนกันว่าทำไมคุณรวยเร็ว
มีบ้านหลายหลังมีรถดีหลายคันไปโน่นเข้าโน่นออกนี่แต่ทำงานจริงๆจังเราไม่เห็นมันจะเป็นไปได้ยังไง
Many countries, even in Southeast Asia, they have a law that government can collect the data from the internet for protecting their national security. They call it lawful interception. Many countries in Europe, they can do. Many well-developed countries, Singapore, 100%. But in Thailand, we don't have such law. And many hackers in the world know that Thailand don't have such kind of the law to sniff or collect information from the internet. And they can think this is the heaven for them. Sony Picture case is a world-class big case. We are the source of the IP address that attacked Sony Picture. We found that we has been hacked by the foreign hacker. All the IP address of the attacker originate from university and the hotel in Bangkok. They compromise the server, and they use that computer server to hack into the Sony picture. We have many cases, not only Sony picture. We have cases that we hack into the other government in Asia, in Europe, in United States. They come to our country and they compromise, hack the server, and we call this the attack attribution.
The Breaking Bad syndrome. So Breaking Bad is this very popular TV series, and you see the evolution of the character over the series to change from a very nice, upstanding citizen to an absolutely horrible criminal. Even more than money, there is kind of the thrill of doing this business and realizing how powerful you are. They get addicted to their own product. And that product is not drugs, it's the thrill of running an illicit website. Alphabay is an online anonymous marketplace that is running anonymously on the internet. Anonymous browsing works at a high level using the following principle. Instead of me talking directly to the website that I want to visit, I'm going to talk to an intermediary who is going to talk to an intermediary who is going to talk to an intermediary, and so forth.
It allows people to sell illegal products or illegal services without any fear of being caught, without any fear of being identified. You could be in any country in the world, and it would be quite challenging to prove that you were the one selling something on the dark web. First link would be download Tor. You can download Tor for free online. It's very simple, very straightforward to download and install, and within seconds you can be running the Tor browser. So on the typical internet, the general internet that people know, you'll see .com, .net, .org. On the Tor network, we only see the string of random characters .onion. So there's no even way to track the domain name. It's just a string of random characters. So you can quite clearly tell that is on the Tor network.
Originally, Tor was a byproduct of the Office for Naval Research to provide a mechanism for intelligence agents and spies to communicate back to the US government anonymously. Over time, the use cases have expanded.
So journalists would be a great example. Journalists researching a topic inside a country that might be considered politically sensitive. We need to be able to do things that might be censored by their government. So the Tor network by itself is really not that harmful. You can share information, it may be unregulated and uncontrolled, but there's no way of buying products or services through Tor itself directly. But when you add in cryptocurrency, which has the same level of anonymity and privacy, all of a sudden these two things together really do create the perfect storm. So you can list products and receive money for products, all anonymous.
When I was working on the sort of great project of my life back in 2013, and trying to figure out things like how could I get this archive of material to journalists? So how could they see things in a safe way that's uncontrolled? There's a question of, well, do I need server infrastructure of my own? Maybe the answer is yes. Okay, how do I pay for that anonymously? Maybe someone like me may have used Bitcoin for something like that.
This is 0.4 of a Bitcoin for a Dutch passport. That would be about 4,500 given today's rate of Bitcoin, which is about 10,000 for one Bitcoin. Yeah, we accept all cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrency is definitely the payment choice. So that is my Bitcoin wallet. And this gives me the QR code. If someone else wants to send me Bitcoin, they just scan this QR code, and then it goes to my Bitcoin address, and then the Bitcoin will come into my account. Bitcoin can be used for many legitimate things, many legitimate reasons. It just happens to also be the #1 choice for people selling things on the dark web. There's no way of tracking it. Or there's no way of tying a cryptocurrency wallet or address to a person. Traditionally, a lot of crime has been caught by busting the trail of money, because money always leaves quite a trail.
แต่สมมุติว่าเป็นเงินฝากตัวเขารู้แบงค์รู้หลายคนรู้สามารถตรวจสอบได้แต่ที่นี่คือตัวเขาเองเท่านั้น จะเห็นว่าการค้าเนี่ยมันเหมือนเป็น virtual มันไม่ใช่เป็น actual มันเป็น virtual ไม่ว่าการค้ายาเสพติดข้อมูลในไฟล์ต่างมันอยู่ในอากาศทั้งหมดเลย
So you can send millions of dollars to someone else in the other end of the world and receive goods in return without anyone in between actually seeing or knowing. The growth of cryptocurrencies, it's been very much pitched directly on the growth of the dark web and financial services on the dark web.
People have been selling drugs and other illicit goods on the web pretty much since the 1990s. So what was different with Silk Road? Well, what was different with Silk Road is that it tried to provide what I would call an end-to-end anonymity platform. It combines network anonymity through the use of Tor, so that an observer cannot tell which machine is connecting to which server to do those transactions. You might have thought, well, the police has shown that they can arrest those people, and so you'd be foolish to enter this line of business because you're going to get caught. This is the exact opposite of what happened. People were convinced that there was demand from customers and that there was a viable business idea in there.
ผมคิดว่าอาชญากรรมคอมพิวเตอร์เนี่ยตัวที่อธิบายได้ชัดเจนที่สุดสำหรับไซเบอร์ครามเนี่ยตอนนี้น่าจะเป็นเรื่อง demand supply นะครับว่า demand คนในเรื่องของตลาดมืดเนี่ยมันมีเยอะ
Okay, so for this one, we need to register an account. You can see they use PGP authentication, so quite privacy focused. Let's see if we can find another marketplace. Okay, we need username and password for that one. I think the Alphabay was quite unique, that it was so quick and easy to get on board and to get in. Definitely contributed to its success.
Initially, it was not the largest website. It was a very small website. They were primarily selling credit cards and other digital goods.
So in 2015, Alphabay really got into the spotlight for selling stolen Uber and TalkTalk information. Now, this is just a great example of an illegal product, data in this case, being sold online. And I imagine very cheaply, because this information, there will be a lot of it, so people will be selling person by person a few dollars. But there are a lot of accounts that were being sold on Alphabay, not just things like Uber, also Netflix, Hulu. These are the things I think people would buy quite frequently. Because it's considered not so illegal, but something that they want.
But reasonably quickly, they became dominated by drugs. The first vendor on Alphabay was probably Alpha02, selling credit card numbers he had access to. And then, as the business picked up and other vendors joined, he didn't, say no when people started to sell drugs. It's very interesting to ask yourself how many people does it take to run a dark web marketplace? And the answer is surprisingly few in general. A lot of the people who start those marketplaces, they are not drug syndicates, they are not career criminals, they are people with a very strong IT background. This is really white-collar crime, which makes sense for the operator of the platform. After all, operating a website is an IT job. But what is interesting is that you see the same marketing techniques that are being used by legitimate businesses, social networks like Twitter, Reddit, and they have some quote-unquote social media consultants that are essentially promoting their brands on those social networks.
ส่วนมากอาชญากรทางด้านไซเบอร์เนี่ยจะมีอายุอยู่ประมาณ 18-25 ปีเพราะนั้นแรงจูงใจในเรื่องที่จะทำอะไรแผลงๆเนี่ยนะครับแล้วก็อาจจะไม่ค่อยกลัวในเรื่องกฎหมายนะครับเป็นกล้าทดลองกล้าบ้าบิ่นเนี่ยมีเยอะ
You have a certain ego present within the community. The knowledge that the general public lacks understanding about cybersecurity, that makes some of the cybersecurity hackers thinking that they might have almost like superpowers and they are so good that no one will find them.
คือมันมีกลุ่มอาชญากรกลุ่มหนึ่งซึ่งเขาอาจจะมีความรู้สึกว่าเขาท้าทายนะครับอาจจะมีความรู้สึกว่าสนุกมันเป็นเกมอย่างหนึ่งนะครับอันนี้ใน criminal mind เนี่ยนะครับของคนกลุ่มหนึ่งพวกนี้มี
It's got to be a little bit exhilarating for those people. It's got to be something that provides a thrill, a high, so to speak, no pun intended.
In the particular case of Alphabay Marketplace and the reach and the amount of users that that particular marketplace reached, probably the owner had a feeling of success, a feeling of being untouchable because he reached a certain level that they didn't find me until now. I don't think they will catch me.